when I was doing the boot camp, we were doing things on save those Clipper coupons, and that crushed it for a long time. Then MySpace, then Facebook, now it's Instagram. And then, who knows what the next thing is. But the thing that always works is networking.
What's up, fitness friends? Welcome back to the Future of Fitness podcast and interview series. This is your host, Eric Malzone, coming to you from my Big Fork, Montana studios. Just moved into Big Fork. Pretty exciting. Nice place right on Flathead Lake. Actually, it's awful. Don't come here. Just kidding. It's beautiful. So we are on episode number 136. I get to talk to Mark Norton. So Mark was referred to me. Gosh, I wish I could remember who now. But he's a great guy. He's been in the industry for quite some time. Facility owner, trainer, marketer, you name it. And now he's working with RedLine Xpress and launching what's called a micro franchise. So it's new to me. The concept is, I feel like I'm pretty well versed in the industry, but yeah, micro franchising. What a fascinating idea, right? It makes a ton of sense as you hear him explain it. And we don't just talk about micro franchising. Of course, we talk about the whole thing. Where the fitness industry is, how to be successful in it. There's no shortcuts. All of that. And it's just really fun and inspiring and educational too. So yeah, it was awesome. I really appreciate Mark coming on. So before we get into it, a couple plugs. Of course, go to elitegyminsiders.com. So if you are a franchisee, any type of gym owner, CrossFit, boutique, spin, yoga, Pilates, health club, you name it. It's a great community to be in. I think we're around 400 members now. It's free. It's on Slack, and you can find it at elitegyminsiders.com. And you can get in there. And pretty soon, if we haven't yet, by the time this airs, we will have launched one of our affiliate partners. So you'll be getting discounts on things like digital marketing, mentorship, CRMs, you name it, anything that's important to gymming, right? Education, all of that. So go check out elitegyminsiders.com. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Secondly, certified course creation. Go to certifiedcoursecreation.com. We are building out, as I'm part of the team, amazing online accredited certifications that are not only great educational pieces, but lucrative. I won't speak numbers on our clients that we've released so far, but it's great. It's, talking easy 5-figure launches and much more to come year after year, month after month, day after day. It's just a great way to put your flag in the sand and claim your expertise in a particular area if you have one. So if you do, go to certifiedcoursecreation.com, find out more. You can schedule a time with me and we'll chat about what your idea is and where it lands in the market and what the opportunity looks like, because I would love that conversation. So go to certifiedcoursecreation.com. And without further ado, we're on episode number 136 with Mark Norton, and we talk about micro franchising and so much more. Enjoy the show. All right. And we're live. Mark, welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me on, Eric.
Yeah, man. Who referred you, by the way?
That was Tom Jacobs.
Tom Jacobs. Yeah. Well, thank you, Tom. If you're listening, appreciate it, connecting us. It's some really interesting topics that we're going to, and you're, very seasoned veteran of the industry. You've seen and done a lot of things. So there's going to be a lot of value in there. And I always like to start with just, give us your story, man. Give us your background, kind of a little bit of your bio.
Oh, yeah. So I started in the industry in like 96 after graduating from University of Colorado with a kinesiology degree, and really went into 24-hour fitness, and it was in a break shop. Like I had 2 trainers there. And every day had to learn how to work that business. Then my roommate and I moved down here to Phoenix and from Colorado, and I started with Q the Sports Club. Grew with them, was a regional vice president. So I had 5 clubs that I was running for personal training. Wow. And then grand opened a place out in Glendale, California. And like in 15 days, we wrote $120,000 in PT sales. And like, that was 99, right? After that, 24-hour fitness bought us out. All those middle level managers they got rid of. And so then I opened up my first business at like 24. I thought I knew everything, right? Like I can sell $100,000 in PT. I can do this. Like, so moved to Cleveland, Ohio, and I sublet it out of the personal training out of a place called, what was the name? It was such a bad memory. It was like 15 months of hell, right? Right. And everything was done on paper, sign out sheets and all that kind of stuff. So I'd have to go collect at all the different gyms. And then September 11th happened and I was like stuck there. So sold it to another entity, came back and helped start Massage Envy with the guy that used to own Cusa Sports Club. And ran the corporate locations, wrote the operations manual, the sales manual, all the same thing that was built on like personal training we did for massage, right? And everybody knows the story afterwards. But at the time it was like, this is crazy. What are you guys doing with massage? Then from there went and opened up my own training in a studio, and then started running a boot camp where I built that up to like 150 people. Then started my own like facility, right, with a business partner, and we just did golf, right? We had women and golf trainers, right? So we were training like some of the pros on tour, right, like Paul Casey and and training some of the people that were swing coaches in CBS Sports and all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty cool. Then I got into business coaching for trainers because of all that like experience, and just recently got out of that and started training again. But now I'm back with John with the Massage Envy and the Q, and then trying to help trainers out in that next step, because there's all these trainers that are being certified and then they're quitting. They're not making enough money. So that's where we're at right now, is micro franchising for personal trainers so that they have something that's affordable, but they could actually use this to grow a business to make money. Where otherwise they're either trying to go at a big box gym or a personal training studio and then dropping out after a year, 2 years. They never really get to that. What is it? 10,000 hours that they talk about that you become an expert at something, right? So they never even really get there. Yeah.
Man. So, in your experience, like walk us through what you think like the normal fitness professional personal trainer experience is like, from getting certified or why they get certified to getting certified to what their lifespan looks like.
Well, it is being in the business for 23 years, almost going on 24. It's odd because I've been through so many different iterations of like what training was, right?
Right.
Back when I started with Cusa Sports Club, I hired a whole staff. I had 24 people out here in Scottsdale, and 20 of them are still training in the business. So at that time, it was like, had to have an education, and we got paid really well, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're all still training, but they created relationships, and those people are like still with them today, or they've gotten enough results with people that they get referrals and all that kind of stuff. Nowadays, it's like somebody gets certified because they love fitness. They think it looks cool from Instagram, right? Like, I'm going to have all this fame. And they don't really get the personal relationships and so now the lifespan is like 50% of the people that are getting certified are done within a year. 50% of them are done within the second year.
Wow. 20%
are still training after 5 years. So I don't know if that answers the question that you'd ask, like what's going on. It's just changed, right? It's an $85 billion a year industry or something like that, right? Some crazy number.
Somebody's making money.
Yeah. But it's not the trainers, right? It's not the people that are providing the service and helping the people out. And then the customers just get fed up because they're getting cycled through all these trainers, right? Because only 20% of the population actually uses that workout.
Yeah.
And so they're the same people using trainers. So we're not expanding the market. We're just flooding the market and not actually getting traction.
Yeah, 100% agree. And it's, every time I have the pleasure of interviewing somebody, this topic comes up quite frequently. It's like, well, let's just talk about money. Like, why is it such an awkward thing to talk about? Is it because no one's making any, at the personal training level? Is that why it's awkward to talk about? Because it's true. And first thing I like to address with people I work with too is, well, how much money do you want to make? Right? Let's reverse engineer this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because it's okay to have money. It allows you to be the best version of you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Feel weird about making too much money, they'll give it to charity, whatever, right? Do whatever you want to. Reinvest it, reinvest it in your business, whatever it is you want to do. But it's a weird thing. And I'm guessing it comes from because a lot of people just aren't making a lot of money at the ground level, right? Where the rubber meets the road, which is a personal trainer. Out of all the things that you've done, what's your favorite business model that you've worked within? I mean, you mentioned boot camps, you mentioned, franchises, the massage envy, whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
What's been your favorite one to work in?
I love working with semi-private, just within being able to help people, because I can train an 88-year-old and a 25-year-old at the same time. And that relationship that everybody has in that group it makes the time go by fast, but it's also rewarding too, right? Because able to hit every single person in a one-on-one type of setting, but really become fulfilled within that group, and I can make more money, right? And they can afford it, and so it's a win-win situation for me. And I say that right now because I'm really enjoying like where I'm at, and there's been times where it's like stressful, and I think the boot camp was really awesome at first because it's like had all these people, but then it became stressful because I felt like I had to scale, and hire other people. And that's what the advice was. And it no longer became fun. And then I kept losing profit too, right? So it's like I'm putting all this work in, got all this time, but at the end of the day, you get your taxes back and you're like, what?
Yeah.
150 people paying $299 a month. And I'm what?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the simple math is very deceiving. Like you'll see, and this is, coming from a CrossFit world, we always focus on what was called the vanity metrics. Like, hey, how many members do you have? How big is your gym? Right.
So my money per square foot, right?
Right. Yeah. And everyone will be like, oh man, he's got 200 clients and, his unlimited membership's $200 a month. That guy is killing it. And then they're like, well, hold on a second. Yeah. Let's talk about my rent, my insurance, all of my softwares, cleaning, equipment, all of it. Right. And it's all of a sudden those margins get eaten at really fast. And, I think that's something that is a hard lesson that maybe I need to learn my lessons on my own. I'm not one who can really read or have someone tell me like, hey, this is going to screw you up. I'm like, well, whatever. I'll learn on my own. Right. And then it's painful. Then I learn. But I think, some of the solutions which are interesting about what you're doing with micro franchising is you help people contain those costs.
Yeah. Right.
Because those can easily run away on you. Like, especially, rent. And that's something we get into. I would like to educate a little bit people because you've done this so many times. Massage Envy was a franchise. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was, and then now they're $1 billion company right now. Was it in revenue or something?
I used to go to them all the time.
Yeah.
It was just so convenient,
Yeah. The price point is right,
Yeah. So what is a franchise? Like, what is a franchise model?
So a franchise is uh, give you the business model, give you everything that you need to do in order to open up. With Massage Envy, we knew exactly what the demographics needed to be, what the size of the facility you needed to be. So you had a real estate part that was like, all right, we're going to help you to find the right place that you can open. And then here's the steps that you need to do in order to hire people. Here's a process on how to set up your scheduling, how to set up, everything you need to know about running that business is already done for you. It's proven. We've got a concept that is proven. And now it's up to you to run it, right? Mm-hmm. But we are also doing it with the help of everybody else. It's a collective, right? So with Massage Envy, we'd have advertising co-ops. So you put money into that co-op and you're able to get more exposure, bigger branding, right? So you get more market share that way. And then you got the help of corporate. So if anything is going wrong, you can always call them, and that's your support, right? As opposed to going, I think I'm going to open up a massage studio. I'm a massage therapist. What do I need to do in order to do that? And then I have to have a bunch of, I have to hire people. How do I make sure that they do the massage right? From minute to minute, how do the soap notes go? How do I convert them into members? Right. So everything has a formula in order for you to be in the best, put the best success, right? The best business practices. So that's what the franchise is, as opposed to just a license model where you kind of read everything and then you'd either do it or you don't, right?
Right.
So that's what the franchise is in a whole, right? And it's governed, the government has their hands on everything, right? The books are open to know exactly what's going on. It's not like a bunch of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. And when you say the government, you mean the governing body of the franchise?
Yeah, and even just like the federal government.
Okay.
Right. There's currently our franchise disclosure document goes over everything, and they need to know what they're getting into. Right. It's not like, okay, I'm going to try to open up a business. These are the things that you need to have in order to run the successful business. This is what this is what we're bringing to the table, and it's regulated.
Right. Okay. Got it. And what would be some of the downsides? If I'm somebody listening to this, I'm like, maybe I'm thinking about opening a franchise or opening my own gym facility. What's the downside of a franchise? What's some of the things that people may need to be aware of if they're looking at, an Orange Theory or, a Redline or, F45, Barry's Boot Camp, all these major franchises. What's maybe, because there's good and bad in everything, but what are some of the things that maybe they should be aware of going into making a decision like that?
I think you have to know what kind of business model you want to be part of. Because it's very targeted, So like our Redline brick and mortars, that's kids 8 to 18. That's your target market. Orange Theory is going to be that 25 to 35 type of person. It's kind of like F45, and so it is super targeted. If you don't want to work with that kind of person or that kind of structure on the workouts, because Orange Theory definitely has their formula on how those workouts are going.
Got it.
And in order to make some of those things work, you're going to have churn on employees because it runs on your margins, so you might not be able to pay them as much as you'd like to. So those are the things that I see as that may be downsides. But overall, you've got bigger brand awareness. You have more capital to spend on some advertising,
Yeah.
Those kind of things. Like, so Fitness Together might be one of those that was like great, and then the market changed, right? Fitness Together is that one-on-one in your own studio, and then everything kind of shifted to group. So now the Fitness Togethers are like,
Yeah. I would imagine too, like I've investigated some franchise opportunities too. And, the startup cost can be anywhere between, $50K to $250K, for some of these, probably over for some ones I'm not even thinking about. Various bootcamps.
And you have to have access to capital too.
Yeah. I mean, I started my first CrossFit affiliate for bootstrapped, right? It was 08, 09. Like no one was lending me money.
Nobody.
That year. I was just like laughing at building. But I think all in all, we got the thing off the ground for 30 to 45K, somewhere in there. I would say closer to 45, right?
Okay.
But we had no systems, right? I had to go out and, eventually invest in, some business coaching for that because no one knew what they were doing. Looking back, would I have gone and waited a little bit longer, invested in a franchise? I don't know, maybe, right? Maybe if CrossFit had done a franchise model, that would have been interesting. It never would have happened because, Glassman's big on the free market.
And Iron Tribe is like the only one out there that.
Yeah.
At the time.
What's going on with Iron Tribe? Are they still?
They're still around. I mean, I think they hit some, because their demographic was supposed to be that executive type CrossFit feel, make it a little prettier, get the individual that's 45 and create some just more exclusivity on theirs. I think I don't know exactly what's going on with it. Yeah.
Well, we can always research it. So, explain to me. We've kind of talked about franchising now. So, what is you guys are starting this whole new category?
Mike. Yeah.
Talk to me. What's going on, man? What are you doing?
So as opposed to have to have all that capital, we wanted to. John's always been one of those guys that's a disruptor, and he wants to take every business that he's had, the joint, right, which is chiropractic, but it made it affordable for people. He wanted to take it and make it so that it's affordable to that trainer that's looking at starting a business. Yeah. So our franchise fees are $1,995, $1,995.
Amazing.
First time startup, right? That gives you access to all the materials that you're going to need in order to open up the facility, your operations manual, your marketing playbooks, all the stuff that you're going to need in order to get that thing open. And he's going to finance it if you don't have that $1,995 up front. Right?
That's big.
For a year. So, and then your royalties are $199 a month for the first year, $249 year 2, and $299 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So super low as far as like what you're going to need investment wise getting into it, and it speeds up your ability to get going, right? Because now you don't have to go out and, like, when you get your CrossFit box, it's like, how much do I need to spend for rent? How much do I need to spend for equipment? How do I put together a schedule? How do I get people in the door? Those kind of things. So and then what kind of business entity do I need to create? How do I create a business entity?
Yeah.
Is it a partnership? Is it a sole proprietorship? What kind of insurance do I need? Right? Yeah. All those things. What kind of point of sale system do I need? All that stuff's already taken care of. And then we've teamed up and with a software that's everything in one. It's your website. It's your CRM. which is, for those that don't know what a CRM is these days, is like your customer relationship management system. How do you communicate with them? Texting, landing pages, so that you can create sales funnels, right? So you don't have to go out and buy a website, do MindBody or Zen Planner or one of those, and then get ClickFunnels and or whatever, all the other things you need. It's all in one space. And as corporate, we decided to change that. It's already done for the end user, which when I was coaching people, trying to get all those systems to talk to each other, I got into this to train people. I did not get into it to be a software engineer.
Yeah. It's a crash course in software.
Right?
That much. Yeah.
Zapier. How the heck do I get my Zapier to connect to my Google spreadsheet or whatever you're using, right?
Right.
So that way it's like a lower barrier of entry and you just do the math. Like, I don't have to open up my own facility. Let's leverage all the other opportunities that are out there. Independent studios, all these other 24-hour gyms that don't have training, but rent space out to you. All these corporate office buildings, like Regis buildings, they have fitness centers in there. HOAs, there's all kinds of different things that are going on with fitness where you can train people and have low rent, get your business up and going, and you don't have to worry about all the other things. If you want to, we've got an equipment package for that,
Man, this is really, really interesting. My mind is because one of the things I really like about this too is there's so much space out there already to train people, right? It's like the Airbnb model.
Yeah.
Right? Like the space is there. It's just not being utilized.
Right.
So in setting even just the intention of people going out there for looking for those opportunities, we can more efficiently use all of the resources available. There's so many gyms that are just sitting collecting dust. Even between like a garage gym, right? You can do it in someone's garage gym.
If you want to, yeah. It's like, yeah.
If it's, nice enough. It's a really fascinating point that I never even thought of until we just started talking about it. That's a huge opportunity. So what is the actual model? Like, how are people training people? Who are they training? Are the workouts included, or is it the programming done by the owner? What does all that look like?
Oh, that's awesome too. Like, so that's already done as well. So, as a trainer, we like to do our own thing, right? But like when I remember first starting to train, I was like, I'm training all my clients the way I train. Some 22-year-old meathead at the time, right? Was like, I'm going to put my 45-year-old client through that same workout. Well, this system is, we've got your warm-up, muscle activation, and all that stuff all separated out. And it all can go into an app where we can scale it. So we've got your exercise that we're looking to, your main exercise that we can scale up or down all through that app. So that way you can train the people. The personal training is designed for 35 and above, right? We've got the boot camp that's going to hit the 25-year-olds and, that middle and up that want a larger group option. So we're hitting those two demographics. And then the other ones that we've got going on the pipe right now are intro to sports. And that's the 3 to 8-year-old kids and just getting them moving. And then fundraisers. And then down the road, there's other micro franchises that were in development after these come through, right? So depending on what kind of business you want to run, there's 4 different options currently, right?
Yeah.
So utilizing extra space for the intro to kids sports, you can use rec centers. You could use different places, dance studios that aren't utilized during the day, or at night, whatever the time, whatever that may be. Gymnastics places. So now all those places that don't have revenue, we're actually helping them. So it's a win-win-win situation, right? The personal trainer's winning. The owner of the studio that needs more revenue is creating more revenue from bringing in trainers and exposure, and then the client wins because they're getting an experience with the trainer actually knowing what to do a little bit with them.
Yeah.
That's proven. It's scientifically, it's a solid program. If the trainer wants to deviate from that, that's fine. But we have the screening through Fusionetics. That's another thing. That's so the programming is a major, right?
Yeah,
you need to have that as well. So it's a little bit more. You got your soft tissue stuff that we've got to do. It's all designed to help the end user.
And that's all included in the ongoing royalties.
Yes.
Awesome. What about marketing? How are you helping people put, heads in the beds? Is that up to them, or how does that work?
Yeah. So we're giving them a marketing playbook, which they can be implemented right away. The 6-week challenges, the 21-day challenges, all that stuff is already there. We've got all the things that people need to use and create, lead magnets, that kind of stuff. How do you use it though? First of all, they had to create it themselves. If you're doing it independently, now it's already created for you. Now you just need to drive traffic to it. And how do I do it? Well, here's what we're saying. Here's the copy. Here's your landing page. Here's your opt-ins, and then leading them through that whole funnel. So our whole thing is build it, market it, sell them, train them, retain them, multiply them, and then analyze it.
Awesome.
So each one of those buckets has.
Yeah. How is it going so far? Like, how many of these have you guys sold or implemented? What's it looking like? When did this start, by the way?
We started looking at it. I started talking to John in October last year, and we developed it and started marketing it April 1st. So, we've got people in the pipeline. That's the other thing with franchises. There's a 14-day cooling off period, right? Like, we give you all the information. You got 14 days to make a decision on what you want to do. So we're currently in the pipeline, getting people through there. But I have no doubt that what we've created is going to revolutionize what personal trainers are doing,
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. And, ultimately why a lot of people get into the fitness profession because they really like working with people. They like helping people, right? They like doing the coaching standpoint, but you start a business and you very quickly learn that, okay, now you're still a fitness professional, but now you're actually a business person and you're going to have to do all the businessy things, whether you like the businessy things or not, because no one else is going to do it for you. So now you got to learn all that stuff, right? And this takes a lot of that off the plate. It allows people to do what they really want to do, which is ultimately, I mean, if you put someone into a kind of a dream situation, is they just get to train people. They get to be at the top of their own pyramid, right? As small as that pyramid may be, right?
Yeah.
They're the boss. And then ideally everyone should learn how to market and sell. That's just I don't care who you are within the industry. I don't care who you are at all. Marketing and selling, you got to learn those skills because it's going to be a deciding factor in your success. So it's really cool. And looking at the industry overall nowadays and what's cool about where we're going is the traditional model is okay, you get your trainer certification, you train people, right? You do that for a certain amount of time. And then you're like, well, okay, well, what's next? Well, maybe I'll do some group training, right? That can increase my hourly rate or my take home. But then after that, they're like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. So then they're like, well, maybe I should open a facility, right? That's kind of the next thing. And that's been the progression for quite some time. Nowadays, people have different options. There's micro franchising now, right? There's the online world, right? There's information products. There's all kinds of stuff, which is very quickly getting, well, it's crowded. But the thing about it is, you mentioned 20% of the people only, really go to gyms, right? On a global scale, that's 1%.
Yeah.
So there's 99% of the people we can still reach out there. And I think micro franchising is another way to get more people out there going after that 99% or 80%, depending on where you are in the world. So it's an interesting thing to see this evolve.
Yeah. And then to take it back, like we're actually in talks with ISSA.
Okay.
To partner up with them to create, and that would be ideally, that would be the way we run in the future, is like, here's your certification, here's your business in a box too.
Yeah. Interesting.
Right. It's kind of like the doctors, right? You go in, you get your medical degree, and then they have to hire their whole staff. They have to manage that staff. It's the E-Myth.
Yeah. Right.
You've read that book. Everybody that should be like one of the 3 books that they read, but that's what it is. And so, as opposed to having to try to create all those systems that he talks about in the E-Myth, it's already done. Now you can focus on being a technician, which you got into the business to do in the first place.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great analogy. I mean, if all things go on track, and I'm sure you guys have a very clear vision of the growth for this, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. You can pick a time frame, 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, but what's a time frame that you're looking at, and where do you see the expectations of RedLine Xpress going?
Yeah, we're super conservative on those numbers, right? So as the corporate, we're looking at like 200 people year one, with all those franchises, all 4 of them, right?
Right.
And the goal would be in 5 years to have 2,000-3,000 of these people practicing, right? We'll have 40 brick and mortar locations by the end of this year. But it also, that's the other thing too, that I didn't even really mention. You talked about that progression. I'm like, hey, I'm going to do a training, then I'm going to open a facility. Well, we're already in an ecosystem where you've got the formula to open up that next space.
So this is like a midway point or a stepping stone towards facility ownership, if that's the direction people want to go.
If that's the way you want to go.
And they're like, no, I'm good. Right? I'll let somebody else run a facility. I'll just work within the system. Right?
Yeah. Right? So there's all those options, but now you at least have like the support and a proven model that would work.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting, man.
And then more brand awareness, and then it starts to create, how it is, like it takes 3 months for your marketing efforts to come through.
Yeah. 90-day rule. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so true. All the work you do right now for your marketing will pay off in 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't believe it until now I believe it. It's actually a law in my mind. I'm curious too, you mentioned chiropractic, you've done massage. Why are you storing this model in fitness?
Fitness? Yeah. Well, it's been something that like, you talked with Nicole Spencer about, this a couple weeks ago on her thing. She and I had talked about it when we were coming. The biggest struggle that I found being a business coach was all the things that we give them the systems, but then the implementation of those systems was where it kind of fell short.
Yes.
Because it's that I'm not perfect enough. I don't really know how to do it. Every excuse. I'd rather scrub a toilet. So we had talked about something like that, and so she came up with authentic, conversions or conversations, right? That she's doing with hers, and and I was like, man, this business model that I'm doing right now is fulfilling, make great money. I get to spend time with my kids. I'm not stressed, you know? And some of the people that I was coaching that were the most successful and made the most amount of money were independent contractors. So when John came to me with this whole idea, I was like, I've been thinking about this for a long time. He has the knowledge with the franchising. He's been successful with it. This guy, this is going to be brilliant. This is brilliant. It's all those resources put together.
You nailed such a good point. Is that a lot of I've talked to and worked with a lot of facility owners as well. I mean, a lot, and the implementation is the hardest thing. And generally, what you need to do for most people as they start in business mentoring, starting to clear out time on their schedule to do the things that they need to do to go from technician to entrepreneur, right? Mm-hmm. And it's clearing out that time is so challenging for them because, they don't see it yet, right? And that's why many of them they're like, whatever, just give me a done for you model. Right? Give me a done for me model where I can just, hand it off to somebody and be like, okay, great. Well, that's going to cost you $3,000 a month. They're like, what? Well, yeah, that's what done for you models cost. That's why I'm telling you, we need to do it. You need to do it. And you will do it. It's just going to take a bit of time, depending on how much time you put aside and how bad you want it. So that's an interesting thing too, is the desire for the done for you, but they can't afford it. Mm-hmm. You guys are also addressing that problem.
Yeah. I want it done for me, but I can't afford it.
Yeah. Right. That's it.
Yeah. And so, yeah, and that I'd rather do the toilets or scrub the floor than make a phone call.
Right.
Or the marketing stuff is so like sexy that I love to learn how to run, all these fancy like opt-ins and squeeze pages and email, like whatever, as opposed to like, hey, why don't you just call some people, go network, do a public speaking gig, and hire somebody that already knows that space to do it, as opposed to like sitting behind your desk trying to get leads in the door. How about nurture the leads? Like, I don't know if you found that, but like everybody's like enthralled with like becoming a marketer.
Man, I could tee off on this one for a while because it's, just yesterday, I was talking to a gym owner, and by all standards, he has successful numbers, right? Mm-hmm. 700,000 in annual revenue, 300 to 400 clients. But they hired this lead generation. I'm like, well, why do you need a lead generation company that just does purely lead generation? And I started digging into it. I'm like, well, he's like, yeah, we get, 100 leads per week. I'm like, why do you need any more? Like, what's going on? There's no nurturing. There is no sales process. There's no follow-up. I'm like, okay, so out of those 100, let's say you convert 10 and you're doing really good, right? What's going on with those other 90 that you're getting every week? He's like, well, nothing. Like, oh my God, hand to forehead, right? I'm like, well, that's your $1 million business right there. Okay. That's the extra 300,000 easy if you put in the system to do it, but that's not sexy, right? That's not fun. That's not like lead generation is almost intoxicating, right? To see leads coming in, like it literally is like cocaine. Like you're like, oh yes, leads, like my going to blow up, right? This is so I don't need to do anything else. This solves all my problems.
Yeah,
not that true. Because anytime you start doing that type of lead generation, you're eventually going to scrape the market. It's going to become ineffective because that's the nature of that thing, right? That's why 6-week boot camps, which I've done my share of, or 6-week challenges, work for a while, and then you got to let them rest. And then you got to do it again.
You can't do them all the time because there's nothing special about them, right?
It's not a strategy; it's a tactic. And tactics burn out and they change. So yeah, I don't know how we got on this, but I'm very passionate about that because I think the follow-up system, do you guys address that as well? As like, how do we build in?
We've got that whole nurture sequence in there, like, so that we've got it like from when they opt in to the whole sales process
Mm-hmm.
to then making sure that we retain them. Because like if you're not retaining your clients, then all those people are just walking out the door.
Yes.
And you're not helping anybody. So, that to me, like that's why I've been successful and just be able to just pick up a phone and call people.
Yeah.
Not even text them, just call them for goodness sakes. Like that thing actually works,
Right. Right.
And show that you care, even the people that you aren't training anymore. I was talking to a guy that I'd worked with forever. And he's like, Mark, I'm getting killed right now. I need some clients. I'm like, okay, great. You've been training in this valley for like, how long? 15 years? He's like, yeah. It's like, how many people have you trained? It's like hundreds. I was like, when's the last time you called or texted any of them? And I don't. Say, okay, when you get home, text 3 of them. So then, and he's like, okay, great. So we get done. I text him. How many people did you text? Nobody. I'm sitting on the toilet. Like, and you can't text them from the toilet? Like,
best time to text people.
That's the best time to text, right? Like, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. So I said, text me back after you've texted 3 people.
Yeah.
Text 1. That person came in and bought sessions again the same day. I kept following up with him. That week, he signed up 3 people. I kept following up, like, hey, what's going on? Oh, I quit. I was like, he said, I need to do a different persona on Facebook. Like, no. What you did was working, right? Like, why stop? Hey, it goes back to like when I was doing the boot camp, we were doing things on save those Clipper coupons,
Mm-hmm.
and that crushed it for a long time. Then MySpace, then Facebook, right? And then now it's Instagram. And then, who knows what the next thing is. But the thing that always works is networking.
Yes. Yes. If you can figure out a way to build a network that generates referrals continuously, you will be set for life.
Yeah. All those other things are just extra.
Yeah.
They're gravy, right?
Yeah. That
you can put on autopilot. When they stop working, you just go to the next,
Yeah.
But so anyway, that's my rant on that too.
It's great. And it's so interesting to me too, because everyone who has been in the industry for a while, who doesn't make their money off of lead generation, right? They all say the same thing. They're like, no, you just, you got to focus on relationships. You got to build a network. You can do some social media. That's the cherry on top. Obviously. And for some people, I look at like, from Nicole Spencer, because she came up and her systems for business coaching. She's built a business on a email list of 30 people and being on Facebook Live every day. So now, if you're willing to commit to that, right? Facebook Live every day.
Mm-hmm. And some people don't show up, right? But you got to do it every day.
You got to do it every day. And I think anything that you find that works, you got to commit to it every day. Right? Just something you find what works for you and you go for it. But, getting back to, lead generation thing is oftentimes if people say, hey, I need lead generation, my gym needs more leads. It's just it's a symptom. They're sprinkling lead generation on top of something that's a bigger issue that maybe they don't want to address because it's uncomfortable, right? Retention is uncomfortable. Why are people leaving me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I really got to take a good look. What is going on? Why are people leaving me? In my experience from gym ownership days was that as soon as I focused heavily on lead generation, my retention would drop because you're sending a message out there to the world. I'm more interested in attaining new clients than taking care of the ones I have. And I actually had members sit me down and be like, I don't know, Eric, it kind of seems like we're about to leave with you for 5 years. It kind of seems like you're not interested in your current clients anymore. I was like, ooh, ouch. Thank you for telling me. I'm going to go sit on a rock somewhere and figure this out. But it's an interesting thing. And anyway, we could go off for that for a while.
This is top of mind because I was doing the testimonials yesterday, videos, and all those people that I've been with like 10, 12 years. I'd rather their family, right?
Yeah.
And if they say that stuff to me, I'm like, oh, wow, that's just, even people that don't train with me, I'm still contact them, see how they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's that whole theory of, well, not theory, it's just a practical application. Would you rather go out and find one client that you can have for life, or 10 clients that may stick around, after 6 months? I know, it's a difficult thing to tell people in their first game start, because it's hard. It's like, hey, well, I need money. I need capital. I need to pay the rent. I need to do all these things. And yeah, it's hard starting a business. It's just it's a challenge. It's not for everybody. And if you don't have the constitution, or maybe that backup plan, maybe some money in the bank or whatever it is, something you can fall back on if plans don't go exactly the way you want them to.
Right.
But to tell somebody to be like, hey, okay, you're going to start now, and in 10 years, you'll be successful because you'll do all the things necessary to build something sustainable. People are like, what? Get out of here. I'm going to lead gen.
Yeah, I'm going to get lead gen, and then I'm just going to do a half-ass job with them. Right. And it's just going to perpetually be the same thing. So, I think really what we've focused on bringing it back is we've got the tactics, but then the strategies to keep them long term, right? Like we're focusing heavily on like the sales process, but that nurture process through that sales process, so that you can keep that person for a long period of time.
Awesome.
And have those touches. That's built into how you should build a business, but that should be like, and for me, I limit my clients personally to 35 people. Just because it fits what I need to make and gives me time to actually service them. And I can do other projects too at the same time. So, it's not taking up all of my energy and my, and still have that time to refocus and re-energize and spend time with the family, Yeah.
That's an incredibly powerful thing too, is, decide on how many clients you want to work with, right? And we talk about this reverse engineering. How much money do you want to make? How many clients do you want to work with? How much do you need to charge per client to do that? And then if you're feeling like, well, I don't have that value, then concentrate on creating that amount of value, right? For the clients, whether from your experience or the client experience or the niche that you're working with, and then find the ideal clients and settle for nothing else. And that is something that you can get to where you are now, right? Over time of, I work with my favorite people. They pay me what I feel my value is, and my business serves me. And I think that's a really strong message for people to hear, is take that time and really vision out what you want it to look like. And people are like, well, I'm not at the point where I can charge $150 an hour for personal training. Okay, well, start figuring it out where you can get that value so you can ask for $150 confidently. And you'll get there.
And if you don't want to ask for 150, get 4 people that'll pay you $150 an hour.
Yeah, there you go.
At the same time, right?
Right.
Yeah, but then, and I think we've grown up in this fast food. I need everything right away.
Sure.
And we can talk about internet too. Everything's immediate.
Right.
So if you're just getting into the business, well, the ad said that I can make X amount of dollars, which is true. But you have to do the work yourself personally. And you have to give it time to get good. Because that first part of the story, I almost got fired from my first job at 24 Hour Fitness, right? I couldn't sell anything, and I sucked as a trainer. Every day I was going to my fitness manager like, how do I deal with this? Like, then the sales manager, how do I sell that? You know? But I knew enough that like, and I was paying for my groceries on credit cards.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So you have to stick to it and learn. I think that's if that's a takeaway from everybody. It's like, I just didn't 20 years later go, oh yeah, I got 35 clients. And it was a learning and then applying and, you know,
yeah.
Some
the most assured path to success.
Failure
and not giving up.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just don't give up.
Don't give up. Yeah. And learning, fail fast, fail often.
Fail cheap if you can.
Yep. Fail cheap. Yeah. Yeah.
I know that one too. Well, Mark, man, I'm sure we could go on and on and on. Where do people find you personally? Where do people find out about RedLine Xpress and micro franchising?
Oh yeah, great questions. Thanks. They can find me at just on my personal Mark Norton Facebook page or Fit Living 365 on Facebook. With the RedLine, you could go to it's RedLineAthleticsFranchise.com, and then and just hit on the Express tab at the top, and then go with personal training and all that. That'll get to me, or Mark at Xpress. Express, what is that again? I've got so many darn emails, man. I've got that and then my own personal and everything else. It's markexpressredline.com is what it is. So,
and that's an X, not an EX.
Yeah, it's expressredline.com. So,
well, Mark, man, thank you for coming on. It's really interesting what you guys are doing. I'm excited to see how this whole thing grows. I mean, the concept sounds amazing, and you guys really identified something that can help solve some problems. So keep up the great work, man. Thanks for coming on.
All right, thanks for having me, Eric.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Norton.
All right.
Hey, fitness fans, don't leave yet. It's your host, Eric Malzone, and I have a quick favor to ask. Actually, 3 favors. So, number 1, if you're a fan of our show, I ask you to do something that takes under 3 minutes. Go to iTunes, please, and subscribe to our show. Please, please, please. It means so much to us. It's so important. And then give us a favorable review. We would really, really appreciate it. And I can't tell you how much it means and helps us out. So it only takes 2 minutes of your day, and it means a lot to us. So please do that. Number 2, go to our YouTube channel, or Fitness Marketing Alliance, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel there. Number 3, if you like this episode or any of the episodes that we've released, share it on social. That's huge. That's a big deal for us. And we put a lot of work into these episodes, trying to give you great, actionable content for the fitness industry. So that would mean a lot. And that's it. So we have some big plans coming up for this show. I'll be talking about that in the next couple episodes. But thank you so much for listening. It means so much. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I love to hear from everybody. Eric, ERIC at fitnessmarketingalliance.com.